CBS News correspondent Don Dahler is at LaGuardia Airport there in Queens, New York for us. Again, Don, we just heard the perspective of the vice presidential candidate, but meanwhile, from what you have learned, how exactly did this happen?
Well, hi, Josh. It might get noisy here in a minute. They just reopened these particular runways here. They'd been closed since the event happened last night. And in fact, the campaign Boeing 737 was sitting right there until around 4:30 this morning, where they moved it to another location for the NTSB to take a closer look at it. The plane was coming in for a landing last night in a rainstorm, a fairly heavy rainstorm, when it was described as having somewhat of a hard hit on the tarmac itself, and then began to fishtail immediately until it came to rest right here off the end of the runway. Now, interestingly, that is actually a safety feature that all airports are supposed to have. This grassy area is grown over what is in effect is a sand field that is called an arresting field, and the plane plowed into that, and it's designed to grab the landing gear and stop the plane from going further, which, if you know LaGuardia, in that area, there's a highway just a little ways over that, so thankfully it stopped it from there. The 48 people on board, including campaign workers and members of the press, as well as Governor Pence, they are all described as being fine. No one was injured.
Don, this is not the first time something like this has happened at LaGuardia. A plane skidded off the runway back just a year ago in 2015. As you mentioned, for any New Yorkers watching, LaGuardia's runways, if nothing else, do not allow for a whole lot of extra pad. To what degree is it believed perhaps the airport itself played a role here?
You know, that's been a discussion for a long time. In fact, in talks about renovating LaGuardia, there was discussion about elongating these runways. This particular runway is about 7,000 feet. The problem is that they didn't want to spend the money to make these runways any longer. I've not been hearing that is a factor in this one, because the NTSB, as you might imagine, has just started. Here goes one of the planes here that's going to get noisy. They've just started their investigation, but without a doubt, the water conditions would be a factor in this, and they're going to determine whether the pilot overshot his landing spot, any other factors like that. I will say that one of the eyewitnesses described the plane as coming in, hitting a little bit hard because it was a low ceiling, so they came in at probably a faster rate of speed than they would ordinarily, bounced, and then immediately started to fishtail. The kind of effect was described as hydroplaning in a car when you hit a patch of water that perhaps you're going a little bit too fast and you hit some water on a street. So that's what they're going to be taking a look at to determine what happened. And
we are seeing some images and videos. You were just speaking, and again, last night here in the tri-state area, it was a drenching downpour. That, along with a runway and any number of other factors, obviously contributed to this. Thankfully, again, no one was hurt. Don Dahler at LGA, we do appreciate the time.
Sure.